So a little bit of housekeeping first. If you can keep your microphones muted through the presentation, we are going to do a Q&A session at the end. Ideally, if you can pop any questions in the chat, and then what I can do is I can pose those to the team at the end of the meeting. But we also have the opportunity to unmute your microphones and ask questions directly. So I'm now going to hand over to Anita Powell, who will run through the presentation. Anita, the floor is yours.
Brilliant. Thanks, Chris. And thanks so much to Atta for helping host this presentation and for all your support you've offered so far. And I know you're going to offer the future for this initiative. So, like Chris, I also received a phone call from Ben Morrison a few weeks ago when I just come off actually a quite long Atta board meeting. And he said, I've got this idea and will you help join the committee? And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I literally have just come off quite a long board meeting already. But he told me the idea and I was like, I just said 100%, I think it's a fantastic idea. I think it's exactly what we as the industry need at the moment, and also the power of it. I could see straight away how it could build momentum. So I was delighted to join the committee and help do what I could to really get this off the ground, or onto the wheels, as we should say. So Ride for Rangers. So as Chris says, Joel, Charlie and myself are representing the committee, who are a band of real doers. It's been a joy to work with them over the last few weeks. And we're represented across the industry. And really, we all are bringing our own skill sets to this concept and this initiative. And it's been, a huge amount of work so far, but really positive work. And it's just brilliant to work on something that we really feel is going to create something quite special and do a huge amount of good. So just to tell you a bit more about today's presentation. So I'm going to give you an introduction to Ride for Rangers and why are we doing it and what are we raising money for. Then I'm going to hand over to Joel, who is going to tell you more about the actual practicalities of the trip, of the rides going to be happening in the UK. But what we really want to emphasise throughout this whole presentation is this is not a UK-focused initiative. We really want to get people involved around the world, particularly within Africa, but also globally as well. Wherever you are, you can get involved in this initiative. And then Charlie's going to give you an overview of the media. So our celebrity involvement, we've got some fantastic celebrities that have already committed to helping us with this, and also the social media aspect and how you can get involved with that as well. So what is Ride for Rangers? Well, it's really a group of travel industry friends who have teamed up with the conservation charity Tusk. And what we're trying to do is encourage hundreds of fellow Africa travel industry professionals, but also friends and conservation lovers to join in to help us attempt to circumnavigate the distance of Africa, which is 30,000 kilometres. We're not going to do it physically, we're going to do it virtually. We're going to do part of it over here in the UK, doing Land's End to John O'Groats, which will be a 15-day bike ride starting on the 15th of August. And the idea is that the UK ride, as Joel will tell you, is to get people joining in physically whatever days they can. They don't have to do the 15-day whole ride. If they can, fantastic. But whatever they can do, if they can do 10K, half a day, whatever they can do, would be amazing. And even if they can't, even if the ride is not going past their front door, which obviously it won't for a lot of us, what we really want to encourage people to do is try and create little mini events around the UK, within Africa and globally, where you even just go out with your family, do a 10K ride, and whatever you do, the idea is really to try and get together as an industry in a fun way to try and raise funds and really awareness of the situation within Africa. So why are we doing this? Well, as we all know, working in the industry, tourism is a key funder of conservation in Africa through the park fees and conservation and levies. And obviously, with our current situation, that has just dried up overnight. There's been very little money going into the conservation system, and the situation is really, really quite dire, particularly as most holidays, unfortunately, to Africa are still on hold until really next year. So we felt, what can we do to do something about this? So we approached Tusk, which I'm sure many of you know are a phenomenal charity who are incredibly professional and have a massive, massive outreach. And they have, we approached them with this idea, and they are actually also working on their own initiative as well. And they have been, it was serendipitous because they had basically been approached by a donor who was really aware of the the grave situation with the rangers, who are really at the forefront of anti-poaching and doing an amazingly important job for all our parks and reserves within Africa. But obviously with no money coming in, their jobs are in jeopardy, the families they support. And so Tusk had this amazing donor who had pledged to give a huge amount of money for this direct situation. So it was just serendipitous timing that we approached Tusk with this concept. And Tusk, amazingly, have agreed to match fund anything we raise. So whatever we can raise, even if people donate $10, it'll become $20 by match funding with Tusk. So suddenly, this gave our initiative a huge amount of potential. Not that it didn't have potential before, but even more so. But what's really important is obviously Tusk being so professional and having run for 30 years, they have got an independent panel of conservation experts who will identify the recipients of the funding. So it's going to be distributed amongst across 60 different projects and conservation areas through Eastern, Southern, Central and West Africa. So really a huge part of Africa. And with this independent panel of conservation experts, they are going to identify the recipients and they're conducting due diligence and governance tests at the moment. So they'll be able to really accurately and effectively distribute these funds in a way that probably we, all honestly, would never be able to do on our own. So what's really exciting is obviously the fact we're going to be having any of the monies we raise will be match funded. It's going to be doubling our efforts. But also what we wanted to do is do something really fun and positive that can be done anywhere. Really everywhere in the world has bikes. So to get people involved and cycling and raising whatever they could is the idea behind it. So how do you get involved? Well, get together and get on your bikes. Whether you want to ride 10K, 100K, do the 15K, 15-day Land's End to John O'Groats ride, whatever you want to do, please get involved. And create mini areas in your area, many events in your area, whether it's Africa, UK, Europe, globally. And what we're creating is we're going to create a kind of event pack as well, which will help give you some guidance and give you some collateral and give you some ideas as to how you can help set up in your area. And also reach out to your clients. This is a really positive message. A big part of what we want to do here is actually also raise awareness of how important tourism funds are for conservation. So reach out to your clients to get on their bikes, and the wider we can spread this, the better. And also promote the Just Giving page. So what we're going to do, and Charlie will speak about this more later on, is try to create a virtual campaign where if you can cycle 10K, donate $10 and nominate 3 people, everything we raise will be doubled. So we've got huge potential to do something amazingly good and have a lot of fun in the process. So I'm going to hand over to Joel, who's the expert on the actual Land's End to John O'Groats cycle race, which I unfortunately won't be attending because I actually on holiday at that time, but I will be definitely doing some rides with my family before it starts, so we can do our little part. But Joel, over to you.
Cheers, Anita. Thanks for that. It's great to have everyone along. Sort of by joining this, you're almost helping become ambassadors for this whole thing, which is going to help us just spread that little bit wider. So, Land's End to John O'Groats, what is it? So, Land's End and John O'Groats are basically the 2 furthest points geographically in mainland UK. So, you've got right down in the bottom, Cornwall, right up in the north of Scotland, you've got John O'Groats. So why this ride? So initially we decided to put this together because it covers most of the UK as a country, which then allows us basically to engage with more people as we go and try and get more people on board. So it's a total of 1,500 kilometers of cycling, which we plan to do over 15 days. Which means we're going to average about 100 kilometers a day. And we're hoping on the way basically to build a peloton of cyclists, which are going to be made up of the Africa travel community, friends, followers, supporters of Tusk, and anybody else basically who wants to join in. So we're asking people to reach out to their community of people and try and get people to join the ride. So don't panic, people. We are not expecting you to ride the whole 1,500 kilometers, although there are a few people who will be doing it. And if that kind of thing floats your boat, all you do is let us know and we'll get you on board. But you've got options basically to join us for multiple days for single days, for half days, or as much or as little as you want. And if you're not in the UK or you can't make it to any of these points, you can ride virtually, and that is going to be a huge support for the riders doing it, as well as all the charities and everything else. So all you'd have to do is go to www.rideforrangers.com. There's a really good little sign up there, and you can say what days you want to join if you're going to be riding virtually, and then you're in and supporting us. So just to give you an example of how it's going to work. So 15 days, each day is going to start in a nice sort of wide open space. So we've got to be very conscious and mindful of social distancing at the moment. And so we've decided to meet in open spaces, near parking, near train stations. So if you are riding, it's very easy to get on the ride. We're going to start between 8 o'clock in the morning and 9:30. And we're going to start our day basically with 10 kilometers, really easy. So anyone can join. If you've got a shopping bike, a mountain bike, a BMX, someone told me they had this morning, if you can manage 10 kilometers on it, come out to a nice, easy cruise, stop at a cafe, go home. You're still part of it. You're still supporting this great cause. So your choices for joining is come at the beginning of the day, or you could join throughout the day. So we're going to have a live tracker. So if you're cycling or not cycling, you'll be able to follow us wherever we go, and you'll be able to hop on for half a day, do the second half, do the first half. It is totally up to you. There's going to be a stop for lunch as well. And then at the end of the day, you are going to have to, if you're riding, get yourself back to the beginning, whether that's driving, catching trains, or being super keen, cycling back, adding to that 30,000 kilometers that we're trying to achieve between us. That would be absolutely great. Because of the whole short lead time to this, we're expecting riders to be self-sufficient. So we will all meet in the same place. We will provide the GPS details of how to get from point A to point B in the route. And then we're going to ask people basically to cycle in smaller groups. Firstly, the social distancing aspect, and also we have to be aware of other road users and making sure we actually do something very good and we're not creating a nuisance of ourselves by riding in a huge group, holding up traffic and everything like that. So riders would need to be self-sufficient, but they're still going to be part of this amazing sort of cause. And if you look at some of these pictures, it's a pretty beautiful ride as well.
Okay, so thanks, Joel. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. I'm just going to give you a little bit of an overview of the things we're doing on the media front, because actually since we started this Slightly Mad idea, it's incredible how much momentum it's gaining already. So first of all, we've got some great interest and support coming from celebrity ambassadors. Some of you may know of Sean Conway. He's the first guy to have done the British triathlon. So he's cycled, swum and run the length of Britain. And he's also great because his father is a rhino ranger in South Africa and he grew up in Zim. So he is the sweet spot of what we're looking for with our ambassadors. We've also got Charlie Borman, who is more famous for his motorbike wheels, but he's going to be supporting and joining the ride. Mark Beaumont, who is another famous cyclist and a great supporter of Tusk. And the chap on the bottom right is Tristan Phipps, who is, you might not have heard of him if you're like me. He's a Made in Chelsea star with a massive following, but also he used to be a ranger in Africa. So again, he's somebody who's really into keeping fit and cycling, and all of these people are going to be doing some videos of support and reaching out to their databases too. So what we'd love is for you guys to also, if you've got any ambassadors or friends who've got really good followings, to get behind this and do us a little video with a panel, a panel saying Ride for Rangers on it, so we can really get some word of mouth going on Ride for Rangers. So in terms of spreading the word, we'd love you to follow and engage with our own channels. So we've got our Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all great sort of storytelling mechanics that we've developed. And we're really going to be pushing out this Cycle 10, Donate 10, Nominate 3 concept, which is something that you can all get involved with. We'd love to offer you something back in terms of your presence for your company. So if you really want to get behind this and you're prepared to do a little newsletter to your database to spread the word, then we will put your logo on our website. And we've just found out this morning as well that we can also put your logo on the side of the Land Rover Defender, because it's very exciting. We've got Land Rover behind the project through Tusk very kindly. So we're going to be able to put your logo on the Land Rover and get some nice little marketing shots there too. So I think really think about what you can do to engage your audience. We're also working in partnership with Tusk around the PR around this, and we're getting some really nice interest from the media. A key date for you guys is it's World Ranger Day on the 31st of July. Which is a really good hook to perhaps launch this to your audience. You can do so beforehand, but really consider that date because there is going to be a lot of buzz around that date specifically. From your side, it'd be really great, as I mentioned, if you could really use this as an opportunity to get some positive storytelling out to your audiences. Whilst the situation on the ground is very serious in terms of the rangers, and poaching figures are going up because the wildlife is more vulnerable at the moment. Very quickly, with the help of Tusk, money is going to be going on the ground into Africa. They're committing to put 2 million into projects by the end of August, which is a huge amount of money to really start making a difference. So there will be some positive stories coming out, and we'd love you to use this as a way to really engage your clients. In terms of social media, we've developed a bit of a toolkit which we can share with you, which has got some sample posts, sample text, and some nice imagery. As I said, we can include you on the website, and we'd love you to include us on your websites. And the most important thing is to get involved, both either physically with Le Jog or virtually around the world. Wherever you are, just get on your bikes.
Brilliant, thanks guys. So Chris, we thought we'd have a question and answer session if people wanted to ask some more details. So we'll hand over to you to work out who answers what.
Great, thanks Anita. And Charlie, Joel, thank you very much. Fantastic presentation. Any questions from anyone? If you do, just type those into the chat box and then we can take it from there. Surely someone must have a question.
We've got some great comments in the chat box. Clive saying in the Botswana sand we should be able to do at least 6 kilometres while you do 100. Well, I reckon that yeah, we'll take that into consideration. You'll get extra brownie points. In fact, actually, I need to mention that Dan Brown from DM Africa has already started clocking up some serious mileage, which he's putting towards this as well. So he does need a shout out for the most keen participant from the get-go. I haven't even pumped up my tyres yet, but I will do.
But whatever you're doing in terms of your training, capture it on video and send it to us or post it and tag us, because there's going to be some great films coming out.
So a question saying, can us tour operators get our clients to ride as well? Yeah, absolutely. We think this is a really positive message for us to show that at this pretty hard time, the industry is really coming together and collaborating very strongly, but also to show the power of the industry, but also an educational element as well. I think if you can get your clients to ride, to raise awareness of the importance of tourism funds, and the impact on conservation it's definitely an educational gap, which we are keen by doing things like this. And by partnering with partners like Tusk, who have got a huge reach and are hugely powerful, but totally, absolutely get your clients involved where they can. Another question. We'd be interested to know if we can nominate a cause under the Tusk banner. Very good question, Ingram. One thing that I should have said is that of the 62 projects that Tusk are looking at, they are, at the moment, we can only use those 62 because, as you can imagine, they have to do a huge amount of due diligence and kind of process to get them to the stage where they are they're happy to support them. So whilst there's nothing to stop you letting us know about this, at the moment, because of the timing, we are only able to use those 62 projects, which their expert panel of conservationists have actually have audited. That's right, isn't it, Charlie?
Yeah, so just on that note, so on the 31st, they're going to be announcing their own activity, and they will at that point be announcing which projects are going to be part of that list. So, you know, it's very likely that the one that you're thinking of could well be on that list, because that really is properly Pan-African, the projects that they are supporting.
Okay, next question from Ali, saying, how are you going to measure how far everyone has ridden? Joel, shall I hand this over to you, because this is more technicalities that I'm not quite so good at.
Well, I think we still got to work that out.
Calculator?
I think we really want people to post on social media. We're going to get a hashtag running, posted on your Instagram or your Facebook or on your stories, hashtag Ride for Rangers, or whatever hashtag we come up with.
It's Ride for Rangers.
It's Ride for Rangers. And then you'll be nominating 3 people as well. So you can do that through your social media, and hopefully it will just expand and expand and expand. And then, Charlie's going to sit there with a calculator, and she's going to add them all up and keep it going. I just noticed there's a question there from Richard asking if there's a camp for everyone on the bike ride at night. So basically, if people are doing the majority of the ride or the whole ride, we're going to be planning overnight stops. But unfortunately, we're hoping to get quite a lot of people involved in this. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to organise accommodation for everyone if they're only joining for 1 or 2 nights. So that it will be down to the participant themselves just to organise their overnight accommodation if they're just joining for 1 or 2 days.
Another question about the actual details of the day-to-day of the ride. We have a PDF which we'll follow up with you all, and also is on the website, but it actually has a breakdown of each day, doesn't it, Joel, and which date they're going to be in which area? Yeah,
so we've got a breakdown of each day, where we're starting, where we're finishing. It also tells you the exact location of the start and finish. So if you need to plan your journeys to and from, you can. And it also tells you how far each day is and whether it's difficult or not. So if you're a glutton for punishment and you want to do a really hard day, then there's one of those for you to select. If you don't think you'll manage so easily, there are some easier days that are slightly shorter, less hilly. So you can always sign up for those days. But it also depends where you live. I mean, some places are flat and some places aren't. So, yeah.
Next question is there a deadline date for giving donations? What we're trying to do is build most of the momentum when the actual cycle ride is going on. But we haven't actually finalised when we'll effectively close it, but we're going to keep it open definitely for a while after the cycle. It's not just those 15 days, it will be definitely going into September as well. So we haven't got a deadline date at the moment, but that will probably be confirmed in due course. It's very much a project that's evolving as we go along. But yeah. On that note, if any of you want to join the committee, or if you feel you've got a skill set to offer us, then obviously we'd be very happy to hear from you as well, because all hands on deck.
Well, I think by being here, they've all suddenly become ambassadors for this. Yeah. Well, we hope they have.
Absolutely.
I see a question about virtual cycling. Can you do it now? You can't make those dates. Maybe you're on holiday or something. So pump those tires up, get on your bike, start recording, start using hashtag Ride for Rangers, and get going. In fact, after this, I'm going to get my cycling kit out. I'm going to go out, and I'm going to put some miles down. So get on it.
Charlie, do you want to answer the question about the Land Rover?
Yeah, Benjamin Morrison. Yes, it is the sexy new Defender. And it is going to be driving from Land's End to Donegroats. So for vehicle enthusiasts, you can just come and ride just so you can see the Defender with your logo on the side. But we do that. In fact, actually, that's one thing to say is if you are wanting to get involved as a company, and you are committing to doing the newsletter, we will need your logo by the end of this week.
I see Clive's asking if this will be repeated because he can't currently get here because borders are closed. Clive, I'm with you. If we have to do it again, give me a call. We'll do it again.
Yeah.
But you can also do it wherever you are. You don't have to be doing it in the UK. You could do the full 1,500 kilometres somewhere locally. It's going round and round and round the block where you live.
He doesn't want to get chased by buffaloes.
I understand that part.
They can go
And Ali's also wanting to know who the driver is of the sexy new Defender.
I believe it's you, Chris, isn't it?
I've certainly put my hand up for it.
Where do we need to send the logo and the information for the newsletter? You can send that to me. So emails at the end of this. Yeah, so send over your logos, and I'll send you back the pack, which has got all the sort of information, logos, our side, and sample posts and things like that.
Or if anyone needs to get in contact with us, I'm very happy to distribute it and act as a conduit for that.
Thanks, Chris. I'll share it with you as well. So
Oh, brilliant. You see, Ben just said, news just in. Kevin from Ethos Marketing is doing the full Le Jog, Land's End to John O'Groats, ride virtually. That's amazing. That's the other thing. You don't even need, you can get on your Peloton, your bike in your gym or whatever. Just as long as it's a couple of wheels and you can track the mileage, then yeah, all welcome.
Just remember that everything is being match funded. So really it's your effort is being doubly rewarded.
Next question saying, have we approached tourist boards for support? Charlie, do you want to answer that?
I think Chris was approaching tourist boards.
Yes, we have been engaging with the majority of the African tourism boards. There has been a little bit of traction, so nothing confirmed as yet, but we have at least 2 that are definitely interested in being involved in this. So it's just going to be a continued effort to actually get those over the line.
Okay, cool.
Great. Well, I'll send out. We'll be sending a follow-up email to this with the pack we spoke about, and actually a recording of this presentation as well. If you want to forward it on to anyone else, if they might find it useful, and also Chris, it'll be posted on ATA, won't it, on the social media?
Yeah.
But I think that's probably it.
But I think as everyone's kind of excited and vibing for this right now, you can sign up now at rideforrangers.com. So yeah, get on it, sign up, whether it's virtual, whether you're joining a day, have a think about it, get on it, and hopefully we'll see you out on the road. Brilliant. Well done, Ali.
Great. Well, everybody, thank you very much for your time. Anita, Joel, Charlie, thank you for your presentations.
Pleasure.
And the rest of the team behind the scenes, thank you.
Look forward to seeing how far you will ride.
All the way.
Brilliant.
Cool. Thanks.
All right. Cheers.
Bye. Cheers.